This video may contain offensive language or be frightening to some viewers. Viewer discretion is recommended. Often we moved to different places. It was just my parents, my big brother, and me. For me, the hardest part about all this moving, I always had to make new friends every time. I mean, yeah. I'm 15 and I try to be in sports, but it's still hard. I don't quite remember everywhere we've lived. There was this one town we lived in, though, that I can remember as if it was yesterday. Let's just say, I'll never look at clowns the same again. Now, before I start, I probably should tell you, I'm actually an orphan. After my parents' death, my aunt and uncle adopted me, making my cousin more like my little brother. Those are the people I'm in the car with now. The first night at that house, after I did my business, I went to my room and got in bed. After turning on the radio to my favourite station, I shut off the light and closed my eyes, ready to sleep. But I just couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. So I sat up and looked around, but there was nothing I could see. So I just laid back down and closed my eyes. I must have dozed off, when suddenly I heard something in the darkness of my room. What was that? Scratching? I got out of bed, determined to find the source of the strange noises. It sounded as if it were coming from the closet. I looked at it, and the door itself was still. That I could see. Though there was an eerie red light illuminating from under the door. I noticed that the scratching grew louder, and the knob to the closet door began to jiggle, as if someone were trying to open it, but couldn't. Out of my stupid actions and curiosity, I went to the closet and grabbed the knob. Everything suddenly stopped. I went ahead and grabbed the flashlight I kept near the head of my bed. I flicked it on and turned the knob. When suddenly the door burst open and blew me back at the wall. I popped up from my bed, gasping for air and breathing heavily. I put my hand to my head. It must have just been a dream and I fell out of bed. Or so I thought. Then I heard the sound of crackling bones. I froze and looked over towards the closet. I saw a silhouette, just standing there and staring at me. Its eyes were like matches, and they seemed as if they were trying to look into my soul. I was so scared I literally couldn't move. Soon I built up the courage to grab the flashlight and turned it on. The figure was gone. I began to hear a faint tapping coming from outside my window. I decided to go check it out. I cautiously peeked through the blinds, only to see a branch that was scraping against my window. That's what was making the tapping noise, I thought. I exhaled and turned around. When I looked up, I screamed at the top of my lungs. There was a silhouette in the doorway. "Honey, are you okay?" a familiar voice said. The figure turned on the light. It was my mum. "I'm fine, Mum. It was just a nightmare." She walked to me and put her hand on my forehead. "You're burning up. Lie down and get some rest. You have school tomorrow." she said as she led me back to my bed. The next few nights were exactly the same. Creaks, scratches, the trembling of the closet doorknob, and seeing silhouettes. I got to the point that I told my parents about it. They told me not to worry, that it was probably just my mind playing games with me. I thought then that, yeah, it probably was. But we were completely wrong. A couple nights later, the noises began again. I decided to just try and get back to sleep, but there was something different tonight. Whispering. That never happened before. I sat up and the whispering stopped. But instead of just laying back down, I decided to get up and check it out. I stood there motionless as I felt warm breath on the back of my neck. I was paralyzed in fear. When I got the courage to turn, I saw a dark figure and I flew back. The moonlight shining through the window had shown me a face that resembled that of a clown, except the face had blood smeared all over it. It jumped at me and I guarded my eyes. I didn't want to see that horrible, gruesome face before I died. But nothing happened. I saw it jump at me. Cautiously, I uncovered my face and looked around. Once I was able to get up and run, I ran out my door and into the hallway. I looked around. Nothing was there. I let my eyes adjust to the darkness. What I saw next was the most terrible thing I have ever witnessed. Not only did I see the clown again, but the clown was pointing up at the ceiling above me. It had a smile that I could never forget, even if I tried. Then I felt a few drops of liquid fall upon my head and arm. I looked up and screamed. I almost wanted to cry, because what I saw up on the ceiling were my parents. There were knives stabbed into my dad. There was one through his heart, his head, the shoulder opposite the heart, and the thighs. My mum had a knife through her heart. Her mouth was sewn shut, and she was being hung. Not to mention the fact that the bottom half of her was missing. I covered my mouth, horrified by the sight. I looked down. The clown was in front of me, still smiling, as he stabbed me in the stomach. I fell to the ground, clutching my stomach, until my vision went black. I woke up to the sound of police sirens and crying. Then my aunt ran over and hugged me tight. I cringed in pain as she accidentally touched my wound. I asked what happened, thinking and hoping everything I remembered was just a dream, and the wound was from something else. My aunt then explained through her tears that she and my uncle would probably have to adopt me, seeing how they were my godparents. That night will haunt me until I die. I don't think any human could have done what happened to my parents. That gruesome night is what holds me back from ever going to a circus or carnival. My aunt and uncle think that I should go to a psychiatrist. I don't think I'm crazy. I think what I saw actually happened. because I can still feel the breath on the back of my neck and the eyes staring at me. By this point I was on the verge of hysterics, but not even once did the thought of turning off the console occur to me. I don't know why. I was so wrapped up in it. The terror felt so real. I tried to shake the statue, but it would literally appear right behind me, every single time. Link started to begin to make weird animations I had never even seen him do before.